Welcome to the Just Three Gents podcast here on the Biconics Podcasting Network. Us three gentlemen are here to review AEW Dynamite tonight, and of course it is Mikey on the ones and twos. Our El Jefe is here. We've got Adolfo back because this is basically your show now. You're ruling this show.
Stop it.
And I, JVL, am just riding along in shotgun, navigating us to where we need to be, which is Full Gear this weekend.
Which I feel like this episode of Dynamite was a great ramp up to Full Gear and a mediocre wrestling show. But let's go. Let's do this.
I can't wait to hear how you get to that point because that's going to be fun. It was a good go-home show. I did feel like it also was a let's fit in the matches that we didn't want to put on the Full Gear card here and get them out of the way, and including nearly injuring half the people involved in it, but that's beside the point. We start off the night here. We start off the night quick and fast with a promo, a video about all the people getting attacked by the Devils and MJF. It's all speculation on who's going to be the Devil, who could it be, what are they doing, why are they there, and everyone MJF touches is getting the crap kicked out of them, which is now everyone on the AEW roster because they are booking Max in every storyline that they're writing.
Right, if you're not friends with Max, you're getting jumped by the Devil.
Exactly.
I mean, you know.
They did say, though, that the Devil, particularly the Devil and all the minions, they are not stand-ins. The wrestler who they have said is going to be portraying this has been under the mask the whole time and is doing it. I'll believe it when I see it because that's what they said about the Black Scorpion, and then Ric Flair ended up having to be the Black Scorpion. So that didn't work at all.
I still have my predictions about the Devil, but the DFL.
The DFL. Well, tell me, who do you think the DFL is?
I think the DFL is the Roderick Strong, man. And it could be like a great red herring, but just like, especially when Roderick and the Strong Neck crew. When the Strong Neck crew went on and did their like promo thing, and then Cole was like, I think you're the DFL. To me, it feels like they will be the DFL.
It makes sense to me. Mikey, do you think it might be Roderick Strong as the Devil?
Who do I want it to be? The Devil. Who do I think it's going to probably be? Jack Perry.
Oh, God. I'm vomiting.
Wow.
That
would be...
Oh.
That would be interesting.
No, it would not.
That would be interesting.
I'm not here for... Listen, I like Jack Perry as a wrestler. But if for him to be under this mask is not the funnest for me, I would prefer it to be Roderick Strong, but who knows? We'll see.
I thought you said Roderick Strong, and that's a very different type of person.
I mean, literally, his faction is called a Neck Strong, so take that as you will.
That was a quick video package. It set it up there because we went to our first match of the night, which seemed like it was going to be a squash match because only one team on the broadcast I saw got an entrance, but that was because they were setting up a beatdown in the audience as the BCC took on Orange Cassidy and the FTW champion.
And the FTW Hook. Yep.
Boys, talk me through this. How was this as an opening match? Did you feel like this set up the two different rivalries were working toward Full Gear, or was this kind of just a bit of a one-sided affair overall?
I feel like this was a good lead up for Orange Cassidy and Mox at Full Gear. Yes. As a starter match, I don't know, man. I'm so used to luchadors coming out and jumping all over the place and really getting the place hyped up. I don't know. It's just like Hook and Wheeler Yuta. Again, Yuta in his third wheel role, is kind of like
third wheeler Yuta
state as a third wheel high,
He's a young boy.
I felt like this was like a cold open to the match that we're going to see at Full Gear.
Yeah.
And then like Hook and Wheeler really didn't need to be there,
I mean, other than for Taz, because Taz was being a proud papa the whole time, going on about his son and everything else. Mikey, what about you? How did you feel about this being our opening match of the evening, kind of setting up storylines going into Full Gear, as you will be in the audience at Full Gear Live?
Yep, I will be the boots on the ground, so come our review later this week. This is going to be fun. I actually enjoyed this match. I think this was a really great way to start Dynamite for me personally. And I have to disagree with Adolfo. I think Hook and Wheeler, kind of didn't really add anything to Mox and Orange's feud. But I'm betting $10 right now we're getting Hook versus Wheeler on the pre-show if they're gonna, because you know they're gonna add like four more matches to the pre-show. I'm like, Lord have mercy, help me.
I really also enjoyed during the match, as Wheeler came in to take on a couple different things, that he got the "You still suck" chants, even though he did something fun. The crowd still chanting that at him, which is really kind of cool. But I think you're both right. This was a better setup for the Mox Orange Cassidy match than it was for Yuta and Hook to do anything at all. And even though it was action-packed, it still seemed slow for an opening match. It was not like Luchadors being high energy, get the crowd involved. This was kind of like plotting, should have been second or third after we had gotten used to the event. So take it or leave it. It was what it was, but honestly, I'm more looking forward to what's coming out of it afterwards. Which also is basically the same thing I could say for the Max promo that we had next, because it's just the same promo who's cut for a while. They're saying that he's basically, he's not afraid of anything. He's going to do everything. He's going to do all he's going to do this weekend, and it was a fluff filler. I love that he was there being interviewed, but that's about it. Like, what was the point? Oh, sorry, this is the Mox promo after the thing. Sorry,
thank
Mox.
you. No,
I read my notes wrong. It was Mox. Mox saying basically nothing at all about it.
My opinion still stands. I was like, next.
So we went from that to another promo, which was pretty much the moment of the night for everybody. This was the promo that we've been waiting to see Hangman do.
Thank
goodness. Swerve broke into his thing. And this is also, for me, was you told the story right, because you set Chekhov's gun up that right at the top, no one can touch each other, everything's going to be that way, and you paid it off by the end of it. This was a well-arced promo.
Yep. Yes, I agree. This Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland promo definitely was just the cherry on top of the sundae. I'm amped to see these two just tear into each other at Full Gear. And if they do not tear into each other, I will be thoroughly disappointed, because just like the looks that Swerve was giving Hangman, and just the vitriol that Hangman was spitting at Swerve, was just like, let's go at it. And the fact that Prince Nana got it at the end, that was pretty funny.
Mikey, did you enjoy Hangman calling out Nana's dance, Nana doing it, and the crowd going back on his side and like, no, we don't care, we love this dance?
Yep.
Of course, man. I've been practicing all week. Hangman, I love you, but we're going to have words. If there's no Prince Nana dancing at Full Gear, I'm going to be upset.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to come out and say this. This is the feud of the year for me for AEW. This is the best booked, best written one from a writer's perspective here, because you had chapter 1 in which Swerve took the win, and then Swerve took it up a notch, and now Hangman, in my opinion, has to win this match at Full Gear, and then we're gonna get blow off probably at World's End. But as Adolfo said, the vitriol and just the venom that came out of Hangman's mouth, and getting personal with it, because Swerve made it personal first when he broke into his house. I forget. I was like, oh man, Hangman, I forgot. When you actually care, you cut a really great promo when your back's against the wall when you're doing this.
Well, and he got scared off from the CM Punk stuff earlier in the year, because he did basically the same thing to Punk, and Punk got all pissy about it. Because in this one, he called out the fact that Swerve's fiance had left him, that his kids don't talk to him anymore, that he never got a chance at NXT, even though he says that he was going to be there for a while. It's all that good stuff. And then going on to Nana saying that he's riding your coattails and using all the money he's getting out for t-shirts to buy weed from high school kids in the parking lot, and then he's going to steal your weed, which got steal your weed chance, which was really great as well. When Hangman cares, when he has something to chew on, he is brilliant. But it has seemed like in real life, since the whole CM Punk thing earlier in the year, he's not either been allowed to or just hasn't felt the ability to finally dig into something. And now he feels safe enough to do so, and doing it with a performer like Swerve allows it to go as far as you can think about. So,
of course,
totally. This is where we need to be with this, and it's right on track.
Well put.
Which then we transition back to Lexi and Air backstage with Next Strong, where they're calling at him. and basically telling Adam that they think that Max is the devil. And Adam's shutting them down. And so that could set up Roderick, could be Adam Cole, any one of them. But, just continuing that little bit there. Again, necessary other than for the comedy aspect? Not really. But it was nice to see Lexi actually work with that and like her reactions to how annoying this is.
I know if they do end up being the devil and the devil's crew, it's going to be cliche. But it just works, and it just feels like this is where they have been, like, leading this story to. And I don't know, me personally, I think it's a good payoff if he ends up being the devil.
It would make sense storyline wise for it to happen, definitely.
It would, and if it does, solidify MJF and Adam Cole as friends even more, and it shows the growth of MJF that he now does have a friend.
I'm happy to see Roddy Strong actually get in the ring, because he was in the ring during Collision last week. So listen, I'm hoping this works out better for Roderick in the long run. So we'll see what happens with this.
Easy promo, very quick on that one. And so storylines are progressing. Another match coming up that had all the storylines going into it was a throwback for anyone out there of a certain age to early internet memes. It was Red taking on Blue in the most basic thing from Halo that we've ever seen. It was a great kind of Halo match where they were in a mountainous terrain and they were kind of laughing at.
Whoa, no. It was the women's match. It was it was Sith Blue versus Red Velvet.
Right.
You're getting
colors of
again.
Sith and Velvet, right? Because Taz couldn't figure out what is the color. I remember that.
Exactly.
Yeah, Sky Blue took on Red Velvet. Can we say Sith Blue because she was dressed in Scooby-Doo outfit, which Taz then said was the Murder Mystery Van outfit, not the Mystery Machine outfit. Taz was a problem to me.
You're on a Warner Brothers own network. Just say
actually,
for God's sake.
But at the same time, also, when Taz gaffes that bad, he then backpedals, and it sucks the energy out of all the commentary. And it always seems to happen when the women are on. And so it's like, again, can we just shut him up for the women's matches and let the other two talk and be fine? Dude, something like that?
Talking about Taz filled more time than what we got for this actual match, and this upset.
Which is sad, because they worked their butts off and did pretty well. There were a couple great spots in this match.
There were a lot of great spots.
And Red Velvet. Yeah. I will say this. My overall impression of it was Velvet is still a bit rusty coming back to the ring, especially with the new knee brace that they focused on. So this was a bit botchy, but it wasn't the worst that I've seen. I just feel like they needed to tune up with each other to get where they're going. And then the final botch at the end, they were just, you could tell Sith Blue was breathing really heavily. They were overtired having to carry the match. So what does this say for Full Gear with Sky Blue being added to the triple threat? I don't know, but I enjoyed this match. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed the chops.
It was a great match. I'm really happy that we did that. The audience, did start the chant, the "This is awesome" chant. It was a great match. To be perfectly honest, for a good bit there, I didn't know who was going to win, and that was great. Who is Sith and Chris Statlander?
Julia Hart.
Who's the third in that match?
Julia
Hart. Oh, that's right, Julia Hart. She
beat Willow at Collision to qualify.
Right. Okay, so we got the Sith Lord, the Sith Apprentice, and Chris Statlander. Got it. Okay.
I was scared by this match for a couple things. The Hurricane Rana that dropped Sky Blue directly on her head was sickening.
That was rough.
And then obviously the messed up Code Blue at the end. The Skyfall looked brutal as hell. Like she landed right on her face. It was pretty bad. Mikey, give me your insight on this. Did this further along Sith Blue's turn, or was this kind of just setting up an actual really good three-way we're going to get into this weekend that you're going to videotape for us and then we can all watch, right?
Guys, I bought you the pay-per-view, so you can definitely watch it later. But
I'm watching Full Gear.
El Jefe is our sugar daddy.
I'm watching Full Gear.
El Jefe takes care of his boys. Dalton Castle, don't come after
boys.
Me. That's great. I wanted this match to go a little bit longer. It kind of sucks because I feel that Red had a better match against Julia last week. But then again, that match was given time, Tony. But I still thought this was a fun match. I love seeing Red Velvet back on my television screen. Dark Sky Blue is still hitting all the things for me.
Blue.
Midnight Blue.
I don't want the mouse to come after me, so I'm going to be very careful of how I word it. I'm really excited for literally all the Star Wars and Space Jam references because Chris, even though she's no longer our alien, she's still my alien in my heart.
This definitely needed more time. I wish they'd had a little more time to play with it, but obviously we had to get to the next promo that came up tonight, which was Miro setting up his match on Collision with Daniel Garcia and talking about how he's mad at his wife, and that's why he's going to beat up Daniel Garcia.
I hate the content of this, but I'm excited to see Miro and Daniel Garcia.
I'm on the opposite side of this. I actually enjoyed this spot. I only wish that they would have had this spot all the way back when Miro first came back from his injury.
If they had done it earlier with that stuff, it would have made more sense. But again, they didn't have CJ Perry to kind of like flavor the end of it there for him because she was talked about but never really part of the narrative now. I was surprised that he's getting mad at Daniel Garcia and not at Andrade, who's actually using her.
I was going to say, Miro, why are we mad at Daniel Garcia? Like, your woman's is working with Andrade. You should be the one who being mad after him, not everybody else. But, I'm not going to say anything to Miro because he can break me like a twig.
And speaking of a little like kind of vortex you can never get out of, but in a different way, we come to our Toni Storm promo of the evening, which they are really playing this whole thing of whenever she's in the room, everything changes to black and white. It's kind of fun that way. I will say before we dive into this too far, did you all notice that they definitely kept in, or it was live taped, the start of this promo where they didn't tell them they were on, and so Mariah May looked completely nonplussed to be there until RJ City started speaking, and then she was like, oh, yes, I'm here. That's right. I'm playing a character. It's like, guys, seriously, just cut.
Yeah. I mean, that was... I personally thought that added to the whole, like, cheese ball of it, to the whole goofy wrestling angle of it. I love this Toni Storm Hollywood starlet thing. It is fantastic. The fact that she had a fainting couch and she was there and she was just like, yes, daughter, yes. And get Mr. Carr, it's just so good. It's so good.
Tune-up match.
Luther, get me a warm-up match, Luther. It was good. It was good. The only thing I don't want is another Psycho fan wrestling angle. We already have like 2 on AEW. If this is going to be a thing, if this is going to be like a rivalry, okay, fine, but don't make her a Psycho fan, please. Tony Khan.
Mikey, you know Mariah May a little bit better from work in Japan a bit, and so is she following any character she's done before? Is she playing up to her stuff, or is this kind of just a new thing she's taken on?
Well, first and foremost, I had to take a second glance because, as I stated previously last week, I needed to adjust my television screen to make sure I wasn't watching a 2000 Mickey James on it. I've already stated that I hate the way that we are portraying Miss May here. Yeah, because, again, I was happy to hear the mention of Stardom, and I'm a big fan and supporter of Stardom. And yes, these two do have a connection because both girls came from Stardom at some point, so this is great. I love Toni Storm. I don't like how we're portraying Mariah May, but I am excited to see both of them in the ring on Friday.
But we move on from a really great promo that way and them leaning into that craziness, that kind of avant-garde thing they do, to the, I hesitate to say match. This was literally my moment of the night, but it wasn't my match of the night. This is our first squatch, truly and utter squatch of the night. I'm going with squatch. Where Samoa Joe took on local jobber number 7, but had the moment of the night where Joe pulled off the nope move, and the flying, just look at him like, what the hell? As he lands on the ground.
Good.
It was amazing.
That was good. It was a squash match. It was a Samoa Joe squash match. No more,
Wasn't probably needed on this other than for that one moment, basically.
Right. Then Joe really didn't say anything, No.
Nothing he didn't say last before.
Right.
Max, this is my neighborhood, and I'm Joe.
How did you feel about this, Mikey? How did you take in this unneeded segment for this go home show?
I've had some time. I have calmed down from the whole fiasco that was the ROH television title. In the context of everything as a go home show for Full Gear, this necessarily didn't need to be here, but did it create the best meme this week? Absolutely. and the internet has done beautiful things with this spot, and I'm proud of my wrestling internet community. Thank you for creating great memes. Shout out to John Cruz for making it look really, really great. The name of the jobber. He just looked at him and was like, really? And then
all of our internet friends out there, if you find the best memes of this, please put them in the comments on this video. We want to see them all. Fill it up with those. While you're there, also leave us another comment, subscribe to the video, make sure you get all the alerts and the bells and do all the social stuff. We'd love to hear from you at BC WrestlePod, but we just want those memes. Put the memes in the comments, please. Joe, and then Joe's promo was nothing on there. So we moved then on to a pre-taped that we had seen last week, I believe on Collision or Rampage, announcing the Continental Collision or Continental Classic tournament coming up to get to World's End. Bryan Danielson announcing himself to be the first combatant in there, looking like a reject from Dynasty Warriors with just the eye patch over.
He was promoting the video game that was sponsoring this match, which we'll see later tonight.
I thought that he changed his name to Bryan Danielson. Yar. Because he had his eye patch, matey. I be Bryan Danielson. Yar. And I am here to do the wrestling. Yar.
He is the captain of
Landlubber.
It truly is. Not much to go over there that hasn't been said in the last couple of reviews about it. We know it's coming up there. It's going to be a fun tournament, and it's basically their G1. It's what they're setting up to be their G1. We then move on to Penta and Commander taking on Young Bucks Dark in their hometown. And before we even get to the match, Commander drops his title in the middle of the pyro, like just can't hold on to it as he comes out. It was kind of strange, but this match was, I'll put it into one word, Dick Kick City. That's all I got from it right there. How'd you all feel about this one?
This was my match of the night. 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 Not. I'm annoyed at how they bring the brown people out to make the white folk look good. If Penta and Commander didn't look fabulous, holy crap.
And it really hurts them because Penta, and especially Penta by themselves, he has such a good rapport with the Bucks. So that's the problem, is they want to put the best face forward. You bring out this specific wrestler, but then you're right. You're also denigrating every luchador that comes against them because they end up losing.
Yeah, and it seems like that's been like the thing for AEW to do, is to bring out Penta, to bring out Commander, to bring out Ihol, and they get in there and they do their thing. They get the crowd hype, and then they lose the match to shenanigans.
They lose to white people because that's what happened. That's what happened last week on Collision, because FTR beat El Hijo and Commander too.
Penta and Commander made the Young Bucks look so good. I will give credit where credit is due. The Young Bucks, yes, they are good as well. And they did do some great moves, but damn if Penta and Commander did not carry that match.
Personally, this was a disappointment in the sense that this match is kind of similar to the one that we got when they first came to Ontario, California, and I was there for that Rampage taping. If you're looking for a car crash that you couldn't take your eyes off, this is your match. All ring psychology goes out the window, but if that's your thing, this match is for you. And now, obviously we gave the Bucks the win because we need to build them up for when they destroy Jericho and Kenny this Saturday.
We do have the Bucks going off on Kenny. Well, going off on Jericho, Kenny having to be in the middle. Full brawl breaks out. Lexi is like diving for cover. But this is definitely like, it's basically the Bucks versus Jericho. Kenny is kind of like stuck in the middle, which isn't as grasping for me. I've seen this 100 times. We've seen this every other year. Do we need this again? No. Are the stakes at Full Gear high? No. What is the point of this?
If the ramp up to this was done better, I would care.
This is like the part of the night where you just kind of were like, okay, I can go take a bathroom break, get through everything until the street fight, because there was nothing throughout all of this. We had The Guns taking on Pretty Peter Avalon and Jacoby in a squash match.
Blah.
All I wrote down for this was, I
Blah.
feel so bad for the camera guy who has to walk through the entirety of the mouth mist from the Guns and Juice Robinson. And I called it the gangbang mist. You know, he's got to walk through every time.
It's not the same without 50 Cent's entrance music.
And then obviously sacrificing Pretty Peter Avalon to the Guns. Didn't need to happen. And then a nothing promo after it. This was literally like, why was this on the thing except to, like, you could have just done the promo. That's all you could have done. Nothing match, nothing promo afterward. It didn't further anything. It just said, again, we're going to take you on for this, and you got no help. We know MJF is going to end up having to be with Samoa Joe at Full Gear.
We got Juice Robinson peeing on someone.
Yes,
There
that's
you
true.
go.
That's true.
Honeycomb Monster strikes again.
For all the Reddit shippers, there you go.
Jesus.
Giving a name to Bullet Club Gold in ways that we did not ask for.
Right. The squash and the promo afterwards were spectacular, like things like that showcase what wrestling can be compared to the video package we got next, which was like, why is Wardlow's boring? He's not doing anything.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, there you go. You forgot. He had a video saying he's going to take on the devil and get rid of the devil in AEW. Great. Does this need to be on the Go Home show? Are you doing something on Full Gear about it? No?
Right?
Then why are you here? Let's get off of that, because we get into basically the main event of the night, even though we had something afterwards. We had our street fight sponsored by...
I got it. Dragon Gaiden Street Fight!
Yeah, the Dragon Gaiden street fight.
Dragon Gaiden Street Fight!
Which was branded stuff all over the place. It was definitely set up really well that way. I love that they went all out and just basically like completely sold out for it. The Golden Jets, Ibushi and Paul White versus the Don Callis family with Hobbs, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher.
And they picked up Brian Cage.
Sammy Guevara is still concussed. And as I think we talked about offline, Brian Cage is the MVP of like coming in and owning a match when he wasn't supposed to be in it. Like he was there to take all the stuff. This had another moment of the night with Ibushi taking a brainbuster on a bike, which was brutal. But that was right before he nearly ate it on the ramp on the same bike, trying to come down with a pipe where he dinks people with it. This was comedy wrestling mixed with a car crash. This is basically what you're going to get here.
So right off the bat, we had no BS Paul White just leveling people, which was awesome.
Did you notice he's leveling people, but they worked so well around his limitations that he didn't have to move. Everyone ran to him.
Everyone ran to him. And I'm a Paul White fan. So just, seeing him just like grab people, just like, blah, that tickled my...
Poor Kyle going through the tables off the side of the ramp and living.
Right. But you're right. They totally worked with his limitations, which was great.
With his capital letter K legs.
And the other thing when him and Powerhouse Hobbs went outside and they would only like cut to them for certain like stunts, Yep. That was good. I do hope he is actually okay after getting slammed into the car by Powerhouse Hobbs.
Hobbs barely got him up and nearly clocked his head on his crate. Like that was a scary spot.
Paul White, his right arm was supporting Powerhouse Hobbs as he was picking him up. So that's the
standard way to go up for a body slam. But he had to keep pushing himself because Hobbs couldn't get him all the way up.
Yeah. Well, again, also he's so big.
He is.
Then we had Kenny and Ibushi, in the ring, taking it. I am mad though. I am mad that Brian Cage took that pin. I think he's a better wrestler than for what they used him for. And I'm mad that he had to take the pin for the big dumb Don Callis Renaissance Fair.
I'm just going to run through the things that matter to me, which is not anything that has been brought up so far. First and foremost, Brian Cage dressing like Axel from Street of Rage 2. That's a video game nerd that made me pop. Also, but my person of the night is Takeshita. Before the wrestling, his entrance alone, dressed up as Mashima, one of the characters from the video game series, which, by the way, if you haven't played it, please do. It's camp and great thriller crime drama. It's a lot of fun. I love I love the Yakuza games. They're so much fun. And of course, Takeshita is dressed up as the one character that has a couple of screws loose from the video game, which was great. The bike, Ibushi almost eating it on the bike was fantastic. Getting thrown onto the bike made me scream. Kyle Fletcher, Kyle Fletcher and Ibushi going through a table and a stacks of different things.
Where I thought tombstone.
Yeah, a tombstone where I thought Ibushi landed on his head was scary.
It was the sign through the chairs. It was like, he's dead. He had to be dead.
The Snapdragon to Brian Cage made me scream at my television. I actually disagree with Adolfo. I don't mind that Brian Cage picked up the pin here. At first, I wanted to get mad because I'm like, here we go. We're disrespecting another Ring of Honor champion because, we got to protect all the AEW guys. But then I reflected upon it. I don't think Brian getting pinned was necessarily inherently bad because ultimately, I feel like this was my match of the night if I haven't said it already. It was just a complete car crash of a mess with everyone doing insane stuff. I was also proud of how much Powerhouse Hobbs was able to show how insanely strong he is, even though it was very scary when he and Paul White locked up a little bit because I got worried for a hot second, but everything turned out to be fine. I've seen some people online say that Kenny shouldn't have gotten the win here. I think for the sake of what we're getting at Full Gear, this kind of win I think is okay because it gives Kenny some momentum, but it also goes back to what I said earlier of my worry about the match him and Jericho are about to have against the Young Bucks at Full Gear. And Kenny got the win here when he didn't need to pin a guy from the Don Callis family because you're still protecting the wrestlers that are involved in that stable. I'm hoping the right result will happen at Full Gear since Kenny and Chris won this match, but we shall see what happens.
Some of the things that people have talked about this match as well, Jericho standing too close to Kenny Omega's pyro and nearly getting the crispy taker work there where he did burn his arm on the pyro. So always great to have that. I loved Tony Schiavone and Excalibur basically saying, "Oh no, they didn't bring you a chair or headset, Don. You can't get on here. Nope, you can't do it. Sorry." And I was reminded of that at the same time. I watched Botchamania today, and they played a clip, I think, from Collision in the last couple of weeks, where Don Callis is going after Paul White on the mic, and someone in the crowd just yells out, "You look like a giant hot dog!" to Don Callis, which is completely apt at this point. This was a car crash. This is what you were here for, to see this happen. And honestly, it was a great way to end it on a good note, on a Dynamite that kind of started off kind of slow. It had a big crescendo finish, and then another weird denouement to put MJF promo again, just to continue with that at the end of it, which did, again, you needed to have that somewhere in the night, but this shouldn't have been after this match. This should have been the end and cut to black. But we did cut backstage for MJF to have a final promo saying he's going through with it. He's going to be there. He's going to take on everything and make sure everyone's safe and make sure that everyone around him is safe so he can do this. So, again, I don't know if either of you feel like we needed to go delve any farther into that. It's this boilerplate thing going into the end of the night. We know we can pick up somebody in the next couple days. Who knows?
Well, all right, JVL. I know that you know that I know.
Yeah.
That you know. That I know. That Mikey knows that I know that you know. That I know that he knows that I know that I know that you know that he knows that I know that I know that you know that he knows that I know.
Yeah, I followed that.
It was an okay promo.
Yeah, I followed that.
We can move on.
Totally. Final thoughts and your rating on it, Adolfo. You've kind of given your overall perspective of it. What would you rate this in terms of the Dynamites you've seen so far?
So, I give it a 3 empanadas, a 3 ham and cheese empanadas.
Out of 5.
3 out of 5. But their ham and cheese, it was good going down, but it was nothing to write home about. You know what I mean? That's all.
So this is the moment where I would like to say I'm officially going to get thrown off of this, review show.
Delete.
I was like, no, Matt Hardy, I said I was sorry. So I want you to follow me here. I'm giving this a 4 out of 5. And here's why. So number 1, I give this a 4 out of 5 because at first I wanted to rate this lower from a wrestling standpoint. I mean, that's what we're doing here at the Biconics, right? So the wrestling wasn't as great as we hoped it to be. But did I have a good time and did it get me amped for Full Gear? Oh, absolutely. I think because you have Collision happening not Saturday, actually. Collision is happening tomorrow as we record this. I give it a 4 out of 5 because I thought as a spectacle, it was really, really entertaining. And the fact that...
Boop.
And again, I'm being biased here because AEW doesn't come to California that often. And I wish they did, only because I think California crowds give something a little bit different than most wrestling fans. Again, a lot of the other promotions, lots of them always go through the same big states because that's where all the grassroots for wrestling are. Your Texases, your New Jerseys and New Yorks, the Mid-East and the South. And the East usually get a lot of these companies coming through. And then the West always kind of gets thrown in the dust a little bit.
Except for major events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam.
You have
Royal
to remember,
Rumble.
WrestleMania was supposed to happen 3 years ago, but because of a certain worldwide global event, that had to be pushed back.
Well, that was the Hollywood one. I'm saying, like, they've been to Levi's Stadium in the last 10 years. They've been to San Francisco. They've been all up and down the West Coast. So California does get a lot of good stuff that way. They just don't get the regular everyday TV stuff, which you're right about. They get the big events.
Specifically AEW, because they always go to Chicago all the time. And shoot, we're going to be back in Chicago literally in 2 weeks. And the fact that they're having California finally get a pay-per-view in terms of SoCal, because San Francisco got Revolution, but we're getting Full Gear, which to me is probably the biggest of the four for me personally, because it's the last big pay-per-view before the end of the year. And I think California crowds just add a different layer to everything. Sometimes I watch my wrestling just to have a good time. Did it help me get amped and super excited? The fact that I will be there live for Full Gear? Hell yes, it did.
Totally fired. We're bringing the professor back when he finally gets to life again.
No, I'm sorry. This is my resignation. I would like to thank everybody for being here. Thank you so much for having me on. This was a great time.
Perfect. We're glad to have you on there. We'll do your exit interview after we get off tonight. As for me, I'm with you all on this one. I think it was a 3 out of 5 show overall. The wrestling wasn't where it needed to be, and there were a couple, there was a stretch there where it's just like match that was a squash, promos that didn't need to be in it, could have been cut out, and something better could have been put in. More stuff around maybe Hikaru and Tony, maybe a match to see Hikaru win something like that to keep the women's division up would have been a lot better. Because of that, knocked down to a 2. Obviously, that's going to happen with that because you're not booking your women at all in a very good way. As per anything else, though, we are excited that Mikey is going to be at Full Gear. If you are there and you are a fan or a Biconics member of our crew here, please stop by, wave to Mikey. Don't say hi, don't approach without consent, but at least let Mikey know you're there and that you watch the channel and that you enjoy what's going on.
If you want to know what I will be wearing to Full Gear, I'm just going to put it out there right now. I will be wearing some khaki shorts. I'll be wearing my Hufflepuff slip-on Vans. And more importantly, I will be wearing my Iron Savages tank top.
And thank you also to Bronson for retweeting our stuff there. That
oh
was
my
really
gosh, he
cool.
liked our stuff. I was like,
Okay.
That has been our AEW Dynamite review. We have had a blast with you on this one, and thank you to Adolfo for being back again, giving us all of your wonderful insight and your F-bombs. We're so happy they were there. Mikey, thank you for your last and final show. We'll give you a nice retirement package for doing that. And for myself, JVL, as well. Remember, you're Biconic. We're all Biconic together, and we love sharing this ridiculous art form with you. And we'll see you, Full Gear, and in the next video.